What's good, YouTube? It's me, your boy Squiddy. I want to make a video today about this new Tri-Brigade branded deck that I've been playing. I just picked it up. The Albaz structure deck just came out last week, and with it came a lot of actually cool toys that you can use in this deck. Just like Mercurier has like this own engine that allows you to go +2, and it actually puts up a lot of disruption going first, and can also break some boards really easily. So I thought I'd do a deck profile. This is really fun. We went to 4-0 at locals today against some pretty decent decks like Prank Kids and like Dragon Link and stuff like that. So yeah, without further ado, this is the deck. Pretty standard lineup. Still like the generic 3 Fractal, 3 Nerval, 3 Kit, and then 2 Karis. So with this card previously, like you always wanted to dump this so you can dump Nerval, but now there's a new card called Mercurier, which you also play. And this card makes it so that you can dump this off of Kit. And what this card does is essentially it has 2 effects. The first effect is it's a hand trap. If you control like a fusion monster that lists Fallen Albaz as material, so like Mirror Jade or like his friends, you can discard this card to negate the activation of a monster effect, which is insane because it doesn't care where the monster effect is from. You can literally negate like Nibiru or like a grave effect. So yeah, super awesome. You can also use it in damage step because it does activation. So yeah, very broken card. And then the other effect that is also equally broken in this deck is that you can, when this card is banished, you can add 1 card that lists Fallen Albaz or is Fallen Albaz. So I'll get to that engine later, but essentially with this card, you can go like Mega Plus just by banishing it. And you want to send it off of Kit. So now when you have Fractal, you can just send Nerval right away. Previously, you would want to send Kit just because you might want to play around DD Crow just to get like 3 names. So that way, if they DD Crow, you have 2 in the graveyard still to banish. But now you just want to send Nerval and then add Kit, because when Kit goes grave, you can send the other target, which is Mercurier. So yeah, that's still the standard lineup. Also played 2 Rescue Cat. I know like a lot of people are playing 3 because this card is super broken. On its own, you get 4 interruptions and 2 follow-ups. So you get 2 searches off of this, 2 more Tri-Brigade follow-up names, and then you also get 4 disruptions just off of 1 Rescue Cat, which is absolutely insane. But the reason I still play 2 instead of 3 is because I'd rather just play hand traps. I feel like opening this, a lot of times you don't summon this. For example, if you open Rescue Cat plus like a Kit, and you're going first, and you have nothing else, a lot of times you might just summon Kit instead of Rescue Cat, because with this, you can actually go into your Almirage, and from there, you can use the Kit effect to send Nerval and then add Karis. So this way, you're playing around 2 hand traps, and what I mean by that is you can use Karis' effect, discard Rescue Cat, summon Karis, and let's say I'm going to use the effect for 2, because I want to search for Vault or whatever, and they imperm. That's fine, because here you can still make Anaconda. Because you put the extra Almirage as a body on the board, they literally need 2 hand traps in order to stop your play. Whereas if I had a hand with like, let's say these, this card and Kit and 3 other irrelevant cards that aren't extenders, if I summon Rescue Cat, like I'm just dead water to any, I'm sitting duck to any hand trap, like Baylor, Imperm, Ash, and I just pass. So like, you know, like having this card, it's not always like easy to summon. Like the reward is big, sure, but like it's really easy to disrupt. So that's why I just decided to play 2. The other thing is, yeah, I mean, like it's really good starter, but obviously sucks going second as well. It just dies to like every hand trap. So that's why I decided to play 2. And then next is the 5 bricks, so to speak. This is the Albaz engine that you play. All of them go in the deck really well. Previously, you played Destiny Hero, Destroyer, Phoenix Enforcer, but now with Branded Fusion, because Mercurier is a hand trap and you can add it back using Branded Sword, it's actually better to play this package just because you can take advantage of this being a +2 when it's banished, and the fact that when you do summon a Mirror Jade, you have this in your hand, so you get 2 interactions instead of Phoenix Enforcer, which is just 1 interaction, so to speak. And I feel like the format's fast enough. Like, sure, you get 2 draws of Celestial, and that's pretty broken, but the format's like fast enough that you really just want to solidify your turn 1, because that's when it really matters. Like if they break your board, it doesn't matter about Celestial a lot of the times, right? It's because they just put up their own monsters. So that's why I think this engine is a lot better. To kind of go into more detail, these are all not really super bricks. The only like actual brick is probably this card and maybe Fallen of Albaz, but you can shuffle them back obviously with Bearbrum and Fairjet. So essentially how it works is this card, again, like I explained earlier, goes to grave, and then you banish it. So this card allows you to add either Fallen of Albaz or Albion, because it mentions Fallen of Albaz, so you just want to add this card. And what this card is when it's in your hand, you can Foolish a branded spell or trap card as a cost, and then put it to the bottom of your deck and you draw a card. So here's what happens. Let's say I have a kit and I banished like to summon. I summon my monster and then I use Mercurier's effect to add Albion. And when Albion's added to your hand, you can use the effect to dump Branded Sword and draw a card. So you draw a card. And what Branded Sword does is when it's in your graveyard, you can banish it to add back one of your banished Fallen of Albaz or a card that mentions it. And because this card mentions Fallen of Albaz, we can add this back. So here's what happened. Just by banishing this one card, we got a +2, right? Let's say I have no other cards in my hand. I banished Mercurier. I would add this from my deck to hand, and then I would send Branded Sword, draw a card. So I have one card, Mystery, in my hand, and then I banish this to add back Mercurier. So boom, you get 2 free cards out of nothing. So super, super insane. And then obviously this is just like a fusion target for Branded Fusion, which you send off of Verte. And then what happens is you end up using Fallen of Albaz from your deck, as well as the Verte on the field or the Bear Brum on your field to make Mirror Jade. And then that allows you to trigger the Bear Brum because you special summoned. And then when this is on the field, you can use Branded Sword to add back this, which becomes a hand trap in your hand. So it's super, super, super broken. When you get it off, usually that's why like Rescue Cat gives you so much advantage because you do actually set this up with Shurag. And then, yeah, these cards are all just like very, very good. This card also, like I killed somebody with it. It's kind of funny. It has the field effect. You can banish Branded Fusion to summon a token. It's kind of troll. So yeah, that's that engine. And then for the hand traps, just like all the hand traps, 3 Ash, 3 Ogre, 3 Bell. I think you should all be playing these because these are really good. This is really, really good against a lot of cards like the Branded Fusion, Branded and Red. This also stops like Sanguine and Ice Dragon's Prison, which is super relevant. It stops like Prank Kids Cockadoodle-Doo. Essentially hits like every best deck right now. Even against Flunder, you can still hit Called by the Grave or like that the Ostrich one that banishes. Like it's niche, but you know, it still comes up. Ogre obviously very good against the Fateful Adventure, so you do need it. And then other card is 3 Imperm, just generic, very good card. Good against like Phoenix Enforcer and stuff when you draw it as your 6th card as well. 2 Nib and then 2 Veiler. I want to play 3 Veiler, but it's just like my deck's already like 45 cards, so I don't know like what to cut. If you guys have any suggestions, definitely let me know. But this card is obviously very good. It's also very good against like the Branded Fusion because when they do summon Libellion, you can just like Imperm or Veiler it to stop them from making Mirror Jade, which is actually like pretty good. Also play 1 Crow because it's searchable. You do have to play this because it's searchable off Shurag. A lot of times in your turn 1, like if you already have like 3 names, you can actually search this as a hand trap off of Shurag instead of having to search, you know, like the Mercurier or whatever to extend your plays. So this is actually really good. It's also good against Branded and Red. Like you can banish the target so they don't summon because they don't add it to hand. It still triggers like the Tragedy, but it doesn't matter because you stop Branded and Red, which is like the card that matters. So yeah, really fun little card. And then for these spells, 3 Chalice. This card, I think you have to play it in this deck because this deck still only has the 2 plays. Like, yeah, it's not like the other decks, like base deck, where you just summon everything and like put everything on the board. You have a million extenders. You only have like your normal summon plus Karis for the most part. So we don't even have Fusion Destiny in this deck, right? So this is really, really relevant. It is a pseudo extender in that like it's basically allows you to like 1-for-1 with a opponent's monster that might interrupt your plays, like Mirror Jade or Phoenix Enforcer, which is just everywhere. So this card I think is super, super relevant. It's basically another extender that you want to see in your hand. And then obviously going second, it's like, or going first, it's a Disruption you can set. Also played 2 Cross-Sell Designator. So this is like, again, like almost like a pseudo extender going first that you stop a lot of hand traps. Every deck's playing like 12 to 15 hand traps, so it's really good. You don't want to, I didn't want to play 3 because like this card a lot of times it's just dead. If they don't have a hand trap, it's just like a dead brick in your hand. Like there's nothing that you can really do in this deck going, you know, if you set this going first, like maybe you can get lucky and hit a Branded Fusion or something if it's in your deck still, but it's for the most part only hits hand traps. So like having 2 of these is just like a death sentence. It does nothing in your hand. So I prefer just playing the 2 and then the Called by the Grave. So it's like you have a play set. And Called by is obviously a lot better because you can banish cards like Phoenix Enforcer and stuff. It's like defensive as much as it is offensive. So that's why just play 2 of those. And then the rest is Pot, Tanky, and Foolish, all super broken cards. This card is very, very good now, especially because you can Foolish Mercurier, so it's like even better now. Previously, when you had this in like Fractal or like the names, it was kind of dead because you can't Nervo search twice, but now it's just like another extender. Desires is obviously super broken. I think you have to play this in any deck that you can. It's just a Pot of Greed. Like it draws 2 cards. It doesn't matter if you banish combo pieces. We're literally drawing cards in order to break boards or like drawing the hand traps at the end of the combo. So definitely one of the most busted cards in Yu-Gi-Oh! And then last card is just Revolt. Just search off. You only need 1 because it's not really good to draw. going second, and then it's just like a card that you search out Bear Room. And because everyone's playing Bell, it's really, really like not as good. Like it's hard to resolve nowadays. So it's definitely a lot better when you have Appaloosa or when you have like a way to stop the Bell. Like if you have a Mirror Jade plus the Mercurier, you can actually negate Bell as well. So it becomes a little better. You definitely have to protect your Revolt, which is kind of funny to think about. And then extra deck, obviously the Tri-Brigade is still like the same. 2 Shurag. 3, like, yeah, it comes up sometimes, but you want to cut stuff just to fit the fusions in. Use this turn 1 as well to search, like a combo piece or a Dedicrow. And then the 1 of each Fair Jet, Bear Brum. You only need 1 of each. You really don't need more than this. 1 Silver Sheller. And then, yeah, those are the Tri-Brigade names. And then the other one's Double Dragon Lord. This card's insane. It's really, really good, especially to get rid of opposing Mirror Jades, which is pretty big in the format, because Mirror Jade doesn't trigger the Raigeki effect to destroy all your monsters at their end phase when it's returned to the extra deck, because it's not public. Doom Eagle's super, super good. Just like shuffle back everything, shuffle back Phoenix Enforcers, and yeah, it's amazing. Trismana, I actually played this. I saw like OCG. By the way, this deck won like some kind of Japanese OCG championship. The top 4 was like 3 branded, and like one of this deck that won, so it's funny. This card is really good against Eldritch and also good in time. What it does is it's a link 3, and then when a monster is special summoned to one of its link arrows, it banishes that monster as well as all the spell and trap cards on the field, and then your opponent takes 500 damage for each of their cards that are banished. So like against Eldritch, like you can summon this turn 1, and their only out is basically like a Golden Lord to have to send this. But if you can summon this and they have no way to get rid of it, and you have like a Revolt or something set to trigger it at the end phase, you basically just win the game because you just like banish all their cards, right? So really, really cute. I haven't used it yet, but in theory it's good. Also like in time, you can actually do damage. Like you can burn your opponent for like 1500 or something. Especially against Prank Kids, they have like all the like dead cards on the field, like Prank Kids Place, etc. Verte card's busted, should be banned. It's the reason that this deck is also very good. Almirage, super good as well. This card also has a grave effect, guys, so never forget that this card has a grave effect. I had like a kit today, and I had to crash, or I had like a Nervo, and I needed 2 monsters on board to make Verte. So I went summoned Nervo, and I crashed. And then when I crashed, the effect of Nervo allowed me to add, and then Almirage also allowed me to special summon itself back as a monster, so I added like a Karis, and then that way I was able to play around the Imperm by summoning Karis, he Impermed, and then I made Verte. So it has niche little effects. And then Appaloosa, super good, Axis Gold, also good, and then the fusions, you play 1 Brigand, Albion, and Mirror Jade. So this card, when it's sent to the graveyard during the end phase, you can add to your hand a Tri-Brigade monster or special summon 1. So you send this off of Mirror Jade as a cost, and then end phase you can special summon another Tri-Brigade name. So on your turn, you have like 3 ways to push. You have the special summon, you have the normal summon, and then you have the Karis. So yeah, very, very good. Also, it has on-field effect, cannot be destroyed by battle, and your other cards cannot be targeted, your monsters, so it does come up. I think I made this once with like Branded Fusion, it's kind of funny in time. This card you have to play as well, because if you hard draw Branded Fusion, a lot of times you might just play Branded Fusion, this card allows you to send like a light, like Nib, and then follow Albaz, banish it, make Mirror Jade. Also, it's another, if this card survives, like you have another way, like another ammo to banish something later on in grind games. So yeah, that's the extra deck. Side deck is really, really, well, kind of unique. 2 alpha. This card's really good against Mirror Jade. It's an extender as well as like a disruption, because it's a beast type. So when it goes to your grave, it's another like a beast for you to banish. Also, it's a beast for Karis, so you can like special summon this, bounces back, and then discard with Karis. Against Mirror Jade, it's really, really good because obviously it shuffles back to the deck, so Mirror Jade Raigeki effect doesn't trigger. This card I really, really love, especially when you have Nibiru on the field, and then you are able to summon this because they have a big token, and then you can either bounce a token or attack over and then make a Verte without using your normal summon. So it's really, really a cute little card. And then the third Nibiru, I think it's just really, really good against a lot of decks right now, so obviously I have to play it. The reason I didn't main deck this is because I feel like there are a lot of decks that are it's not good against, like Eldritch and like Flunder and stuff like that, and also against the fusion decks, not very good. Like I side them out because they don't usually like summon more than 5 times, or they can easily play around it. 2 token collector, obviously Sword Soul is still a thing, so it's like good to respect it. Also, it's decent against based when they go like How Combo or Rodon. Same with like Fateful Adventure, etc. Right. These cards just for like Eldritch, didn't main deck them, so it's like auto scoop to the skill drain and mine, but I don't think that they're good enough to main deck. 3 Judgment, this card's absolutely insane. Going first, like this card is probably like one of the best cards that you can draw, just because it's So good against a lot of things. It stops like droplet, stops a lot of cards dead in the tracks, and just protects your board. So I think it's really, really good. And then 3 barrier, this card is just super nuts against the Branded Fusion decks. You chain this to Branded Fusion, and their turn basically ends. And then on your turn, you just kill them with Axitoad. So yeah, that's the deck. If you guys have any suggestions, let me know. I'm definitely going to play around. It's a lot of fun. So there are cool, bunch of cool different combos. I might do a combo video. But yeah, other than that, if you guys like this, subscribe, rate, and comment. And I'll be sure to make more. Deuces.